She's jumping into the ocean. Her face has no emotion. And running in slow motion. Make it stop. I rather would have a face punch than hanging with this bad bunch. My brain is now a wet sponge. Make it stop. Oh no, this movie is a joke now. What they want, I don't know, but guys are ripped and ready to show. Age anxiety at 18. These forests, they are quite green. No personality on the screen. Movie sucks. But animate big mutts. And these vampires are big putts. I think I'm going quite nuts. Make it stop. Hey, ho, oh hell no. This movie is a joke, wow. What they want, I don't know. It's all fucked up and everything blows. This franchise hit is aimless. The characters are shameless. The entire script is brainless. Make it stop. Volterra has night hours. Why has Edward psychic powers? Oh, this movie drags for hours. Make it stop. And now it's time for review to start now. Sorry about that, the Ramones, but this movie just had it coming. So, we are back in Forks in Washington and we're following around Bella and her increasingly boring and uncomfortable and stupid romance with Edward. Now, she has just turned 18 and has, I don't know what the term is in English, but in Swedish we would call it age anxiety. She is freaking out over the fact that she has turned 18 years old. Bitch, are you for real? So, this is not just, a one-off thing. She constantly brings it up, even saying, or was it another character who says, hey, I found a gray hair. And she's kind of freaking out the fact that she's technically older than he is because, he doesn't age and all that stuff. On the other side of this plotless movie, they also rehashed the idea from the first movie, aka somebody is mauling hikers. Spoiler alert, it is Victoria and her cronies for reasons that will remain unclear. And after, a birthday party that go 57 flavors of wrong, Edward just dumps her after the paper cut incident, and I was just like, huh? The fuck? At least it is something new. But then I realized, well, now Mrs. Sameface is going to have to mope around for almost the entirety of this movie. Seriously! This very heartless and very cruel dumping of her, makes her basically go into almost, a catatonic depression that lasts for months. And no psychological help is offered to her or anything like that. The thing is that if you're trying to, wake sympathy for Mrs. Sameface or for Edward, by the way, this Mrs. Sameface thing stems from the fact that she never ever changes her, her face. She always has the same face. Winning the lottery, burying a loved one, it doesn't matter. It is always this dumb, stupid face that she puts on. That's why she from now on will forever be called Mrs. Sameface. Anyway, so she kind of, finds a new friend in her life, Jacob, who has now cut his hair and got himself into amazing shape. And he is in love with Bella. He has been in love with Bella apparently for several years and now seeks this opportunity to, try to get closer to her and maybe find love. But she's resistant to this one because she doesn't want to forget Edward. I want to forget Edward, however. I never want to see him again. I was just so tired of their horrible dialogue and their incredibly horrible charisma. Seriously, they have such anti-charisma that they should create something entirely new, like magnets that pushes each other away. However, over time, she starts warming up a little bit to Jacob, and why shouldn't she? He's a much handsomer fellow, he's a much nicer man, he really cares for her, and he is ultimately, however, used as just a placeholder so they can force this bad love triangle to be about as convincing as an unconvincing love triangle, because it is so blatantly stated so early that she will always choose this asshole instead of this very nice guy. Yeah, I am Team Jacob, so sue me, you fuckers. She also discovers that when she puts herself into dangerous situations, she gets glimpses of Edward. So she's using this adrenaline thing of riding motorcycles, going to see crappy movies called Face Punch, which I actually think would be a better movie than this fucking thing. Going away, with strange men on motorcycles, and also jumps into the ocean and nearly drowns herself just so she can see this fucking guy who is a worthless tool. The more I saw of this movie, the more I realized you two deserve each other. Mrs. Sameface, you are a pretentious, obnoxious twat. And you, Mr. Edward Cullen, is an even more obnoxious milksoap that I just want to see, being dragged away by the werewolves in this movie. Oh, we'll get to the fucking werewolves soon enough, don't you worry. And, get your head caved in or something like that, so we don't have to watch your fucking face ever again. So as I said, Bella discovers that Jacob is a werewolf, and there is a war, sort of, between vampires and werewolves. Where will she stand in this one? Well, we shall see in the sequels. But one thing about these werewolves is that they are terribly animated. The CGI on these fuckers are horrible. I mean, bad CGI when everything hangs on the CGI. Because this movie sure doesn't have any plot to rely on or anything like that. It can, however, could rely on a decent enough CGI or special effect, but they don't have it. They look fucking awful. So we don't have that. So the only thing this movie really has going on for itself is a plot we don't have any stakes in. It is about characters we absolutely care nothing about, except maybe Jacob and except Arrow. We'll get to him in a second. We basically have a plot that barely stretches 30 minutes, but is drawn out to 130 minutes. 2 hours and 10 minutes of this fucking shit. Are you kidding me? Stephanie Meyers, what the fuck is wrong with you? And this movie's finale is about as boring and mundane as you could ever possibly get. With one little exception and one thing, one big shiny light that comes to a little bit save us in the end. Arrow, played by Michael Sheen. He is low-key one of my favorite actors, in these small little roles. He's always really good. And, he just went all overboard with this one and, putting on what I would consider one of the most entertainingly evil performances I have seen in, for some time. It was so effective that he actually broke, the last movie, Breaking Dawn, with sequence, but that I still think is one of the unintentionally funniest things I've ever seen. And he shows up just with Dakota Fanning and a bunch of other people as, the Volturi, the ancient vampires. And the Volturi, they are so much cooler than the Cullens could ever hope to inspire to be. In the end, this movie is obnoxious, it is pretentious, it is boring, it is borderline disturbing. If you, for any reason, liked the first movie, I would advise you not to see this one, because it is basically sort of the same plot, but with a lot less character development, a lot less characters of the ones you actually like, her friends that try to share her up, but she's being a dick to them, when she, don't call them or anything like that. And they're also trying to make Anna Kendrick unlikable, which is impossible. That woman could, you know, take puppies and use machete to chop them up, and we would still say she's so charming when she's chopping up those puppies, wouldn't you say? But I'm getting sidetracked. New Moon is, as I said, a quite terrible movie. Atrociously long, incredibly bad pacing, bad acting, horrendously bad writing, and just a movie that you're feeling unclean after having watched, because it is so dumb. The sequence when she falls off that bike and Jacob, you know, takes off his shirt and, you know, tries to, you know, pat down the bleeding was sort of, oh my god, it is so dumb. It is the type of sequence that, you know, Vampire Sucks could not even make, you know, more unintentionally funny than what it already is. By the way, does these werewolves all have, you know, stacks of jeans shorts just, you know, in the forest at random places because, you know, their clothes rips off a la Hulk style when they turns into, you know, these werewolves, but when they turn back again, they're magically, you know, clothed again. Weird. With almost no redeeming qualities apart from Michael Sheen, a couple of unintentionally funny moments, decent cinematography, and a couple of sequences that almost made me care for this thing. This movie is filled top to bottom with some of the worst and lamest sequences that has ever been made. This movie scratches and claws itself to 8 points. They do this basically by showing how nice isn't Volterra. The movie's too long, it's unnecessary, it has horrible characters, it has terrible writing, awful direction, and the movie is a chore to get through. I never want to see this movie again, and I never want to hear about it ever again. It is poison to me. Is 8 points too much? I don't know, but man, this is a terrible movie, and it is not even the worst of the Twilight movies. Oh, cheeky. So I'll see you next time from, well, so-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.